Curious about how men show interest in a woman without using their words? Want an in-depth tutorial on what his body language is telling you, and specifically what signs to look for? I'm about to showcase 17 signs his body language is saying a yes to you right now. Hey everyone, I'm dating and relationship coach Ryan Patrick. Alright, so today's video is in response to a question I asked you guys a few weeks ago if you wanted to see an expanded version of a man's body language video. So fortunately, many of you got back to me and said, yes, Ryan, we want to see this body language video. So I put this one together and I hope you like it. So, what can you expect from this video? Well, as I mentioned before, I have a massive list of 17 body language signs that I'm about to go through thoroughly with you right now. Now, I'm gonna start with the more obvious overt signs that you guys probably may have heard before and may have seen before. And then I'm gonna gradually get down to the more subtle, less obvious stuff that you guys should definitely be on the lookout for. So of course, 17 is a lot and these are really good, so let's jump into them right now. The first sign is a full smile. A full smile means you're gonna be able to see his top and bottom teeth. Also, you're going to need to see other parts of his face engaged with the smile. I want you guys looking for things like slightly squinty eyes, defined dimples and jawline, and of course, wrinkles around the eyes. A half smile or fake smile will only show you the top part of his teeth and will not engage the entire face. Hey, can I get out of here? The second sign is he initiates touching. If you find that a guy laughs at your joke and then brushes against your arm or your hand, or he goes in for a hug that's a beat or two, just a little too long, this is an easy sign to look out for. Now, it's always risky when a guy invades your personal space, so him taking a shot at this is quite telling. If you find that you like this guy too, you can respond in kind in a similar fashion by laughing playfully and then just simply grazing against his arm or his hand briefly. The third sign is his eyes are glued to your face. Guys who are interested in you can lose track of time very easily. You may find while talking to him that he gets lost in your eyes or some other facial feature of yours. When this happens, he might even get thrown off a little bit and stumble his words with you. The look you're looking for from him in this particular instance is a mix between puppy dog eyes and him being slightly panic-stricken. God, you're pretty. The fourth sign is his eyes wander to your body. Now, it's important to note that when interested guys lose track of time, they also typically lose track of where they're looking. When a guy is interested in you, he's naturally gonna be looking down at your body, but he's not even gonna realize he's doing it half the time. It'll be fun to watch him when he catches himself in the act though. So hopefully you can forgive his wandering glance. The fifth sign is him leaning in, giving you his undivided attention. This one needs to be taken with a grain of salt. I'm gonna say you're gonna need several other signs to back up and support his level of interest in you, aside from him just leaning in and giving you his undivided attention. Why? Because there are many professional sales type men that will use this one to their advantage with women. So just be careful. If you sense that you may be in front of one of these types of guys, I might recommend looking for that full smile or for those wandering eyes down to your body, just to make sure there's some other stuff going on there. Leaning in can also mean he's just being polite. The sixth sign is him preening or fixing himself. Guys who fix themselves in front of you are doing it subconsciously and would probably be pretty embarrassed if they saw themselves on camera doing this with you. You're gonna look for things like him running his fingers through his hair, smoothing out his clothes, or him checking his breath real fast. Remember, if he's fixing himself, he's on autopilot here, so this isn't something he's forcing, like leaning in. The seventh sign is the power stance. The power stance consists of him with his hands on his hips, spread legs, and cocked elbows. Think about how a superhero would stand. They'll change their shape like this to seem a little bit taller, stronger, and leaner in front of you. Now, you may see men do this within a group of guys, but if you two are alone and he's doing this, excellent sign. The eighth sign is he fidgets in front of you. For whatever reason, guys who are interested in you become like little kids on a sugar rush. They cannot stay still. Here, you're gonna be looking for things like him playing with his jewelry, him with his hands in his pockets, or him swaying side to side on his feet. His temperature is going up when this happens, so maybe look out for him airing out his shirt a little bit or wiping his brow. The 9th sign is he syncs up your steps. If you're ever walking with a guy and you notice that his steps are in sync with yours, this could be a great sign to add to the win column. By him tracking right with you step for step, it shows that he's engaged and that he wants to talk to you. If he's walking a little bit ahead of you or a little bit behind you, he may be marching to his own beat and he may not be that interested in you. And he may not have you in the forefront of his mind. The 10th sign is he guides you by your back. Back to the touching thing. If you're walking through a crowded room with a guy, does he touch the small of your back? By him simply placing his hand on the lower part of your back to guide you through a crowd, or to guide you through a doorway if he's opening the door for you, it shows that he's being protective of you. This will be the last thing on a guy's mind to do if he's not interested in you, so take note. The 11th sign is he sizes up other men. Now, if you're talking to a guy and another one shows up and interrupts the conversation, do you notice the first guy either stiffen up or just size up the other guy as potential competition? Huh? This one is going to be a much harder one to spot, but it's a telltale sign of interest if you can catch it. An easier version of noticing this is if you see a guy across the room trying to make eye contact with you while you're talking to other people, especially other guys. The 12th sign is his throat goes dry. Something weird happens when we're near a girl that we like. Our temperature goes up and we can get parched fast. Excuse me. Take note if a guy is touching or grabbing at his throat a lot while you're talking to him. The neck represents vulnerability and communication, both of which are things that get a little funky when we're around a girl that we like. The 13th sign is he fixes his socks. Now this would be something you would probably never notice if you weren't hip to it, but now I'm making you hip to it. Like fidgeting and neck sensitivity, the ankles represent vulnerability. So when we're around a girl that we like, we'll fix our socks. This won't happen while we're standing, of course, so if you're sitting next to him, be sure to check out what he's doing under the table. The 14th sign is he flares his nostrils. This is an interesting one for me because Brittany tells me that I do this, but only when I disagree with her about something. So it turns out that it's a guy's involuntary response to him liking you. Now I don't think that I could personally showcase this one without totally laughing, but hopefully you're looking at a B-roll clip of someone doing something close to this. The 15th sign is he'll have parted lips, otherwise known as mouth agape. He's doing this because he's thinking about kissing you. Now I know this is true because this is what my notes say. If you see a guy doing this, one thing that might be really smart in the moment is to mimic him and slightly separate your lips. By doing this, you're doing something called mirroring, where you're actually doing the same actions as he's doing. Now you can also do this with your hand position, your arms leaning on the table if he's going like this. Anytime you can mirror a guy that you think is interested in you, it's a great way to just reflect that positive body language right back to him. The 16th sign is he'll open his legs. If a guy takes up a lot of space around you and just seems really comfortable, you might see him open up his legs or pivot his body towards you, and that is a great sign of interest. Obviously, this is a very sensitive area for a man, so if he's kind of revealing that to you in a sense, or just kind of opening his body language to you, he wants to consume your attention because he's interested. You can also look for variations of this, of him crossing his legs and uncrossing his legs and just shifting in his seat, but ultimately he's square in front of you. The 17th sign is he'll point his feet towards you. The only way you'd probably ever notice this is if you were ignoring everything else about him and just looking down at his feet. But if you notice his feet are pointed directly at you, you're in. Guys who are angled away just aren't gonna be fully invested in you, or they're not quite there yet. So good news. In addition to this body language video, I'm also gonna be producing another video that's dedicated to female body language and things that you can do to show a guy you're interested without having to tell him. That's coming out in 2 weeks, so stay tuned for that one. Guys, if you like this video, please give it a like below. If you guys have any questions at all about body language from guys or from girls, be sure to leave those in the comments below. Oh, and next week, sex toys. I'm doing a sex toys video. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next week.